What's up, folks? Welcome back to 802 Garage and an update on the $500 Turbo Car Challenge. Also, real quick thank you to my two new Patreon members, Brandon Mitchell and Three Wheels in a Block. The latter has his own channel. Go check it out. They round out the OG 10 supporting me on Patreon, immortalized in the description below. Now, as far as the challenge goes, I've made good progress, but despite the fact that me and Wideband, the co-host of this challenge, designed it to have some crunch, I didn't think I would be feeling it so much. And basically, I am behind, and per my own challenge rules, I have to have a build video and a testing video. So this build video is going to go up today, the testing video will be tomorrow, and results are out on July 1st. Everyone showing how their cars can do in the speed tests and allowing you to vote to help decide who wins on various aspects of the car on July 1st as well. That voting should be open for 48 hours. As you can see, my car has a turbo. It's got an oil line, it's got an oil return, which is pretty funny. It may or may not be the dipstick tube. It has the turbo manifold, obviously. Has a wastegate, still need to make a dump for that so I don't just kind of, melt my radiator. It's got this awesome intake tube, which I will be putting my huge red filter on. If you haven't seen the unboxing video, that was really fun. It was like a mini game show with friends where we unboxed all my turbo parts. So this thing is definitely pretty close. Obviously, I do still need the intercooler, which fits right in here perfectly. You might have been able to see that on my Instagram. Go follow it if you haven't. You get a lot of behind the scenes updates. But so the intercooler will go right there. And I think for extra Haggard points, I'm just going to run the intercooler piping out like that. It might be a little bit janky too because I've got to go into the side ports of the intercooler. And I do still need to route it up to the intake, deal with some of those vacuum leaks. I guess maybe theoretically I could actually plumb that back in, but I probably won't. I just won't even have a catch can because I'm just too cool for that. That old air box is going to go. Have to rewire the MAF. And I have not done any fuel mods yet, so maybe in this video I'll show digging into the back seat, putting in the new fuel pump, and trying to put on the fuel regulator. We'll see. Not sure exactly what this build video will encompass because I just need to bust my bum today to try to get this ready to actually test and tune tomorrow and then go for the gold with the challenge. I'm actually also going to Wicked Big Meat on Sunday, and it is Friday as I'm filming this. So I literally have today basically to finish the build, Saturday to, iron out the kinks, which is not a lot of time for a non-tuned turbo build. I do still need to install the gauges. I at least need the air fuel and the boost so that I have some idea of what the car is doing, even if I just ignore oil pressure for now. But yeah, just have Saturday, and then I'll be leaving Saturday night, coming back Sunday night, so theoretically I can pull an all-nighter, and if I need to get my test results at 3 a.m., who knows? But as far as how the build has gone, some of the things I thought were going to be really easy were not so easy. Like putting on the manifold, I had to do some clearancing there. Putting on the turbo, one of those bolts is a real pain in the butt, which I think Jacob from Rust Belt Garage told me was going to happen. Putting the oil feed on was actually pretty easy, and I know this is not ideal, but obviously I had a long cable, and I thought it would be pretty funny for the Haggard style part of the challenge. You got oil line sticking up, air filter out here, turbo, intercooler piping going down to the core support like that. I think it's going to be pretty sweet. The dump tube, I might just cut the resonator and weld it onto the flange I have, put it right there, and then that's going to be where the O2 sensor lives. Also, I don't know if this port, oh yeah, that port actually does go in there, so I definitely need to block that off, obviously, or I have infinite wastegate. But yeah, so it's going pretty well. I still have a lot to do today. It's going to be crunch. I'll try to show you some, but I do want to let you all know that I have all the footage from the build. I have like the entire process, and I'm going to be making a really awesome turbo build video on that once I'm done with the challenge, but I realized over the last couple days, there was just no way I was going to have time to do a justice to that edit, and I really want it to be a nice big video that shows the turbocharging process from start to finish. And so that will be out sometime after the challenge, hopefully as a big feature for the channel, along with some other stuff I have going on. But I did at least want to update y'all and comply with the rules of my own challenge. If you haven't checked out all the other channels competing in the challenge, please do so. Links to them will be in the description and the pinned comment. There's been some really awesome build footage, especially from some of the smaller channels you might not have expected it from. Monkey Wrenching came out of kind of nowhere. Used to have less than 100 subscribers, and he's doing a twin turbo to a throttle body intake, just straight to it. It sounds mental. It's kind of like Leroy, except in a Chevy truck form. It's so, and on an insane budget. And the fabrication a lot of these guys are doing is great. And it's you know, it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, there is definitely crunch right now for everybody. We don't know if everybody's going to make it to the finish line, including me, but we're doing our best. So please do go check out those channels. I'm going to get back to work on this. I'll try to give you a few more updates before I send this video out today, but it does need to be out on Friday, so I can give you a testing video on Saturday. I hope y'all are enjoying the $500 Turbo Challenge. Oh, and speaking of $500 Turbo Challenge, if you do go search for hashtag $500 Turbo Challenge on YouTube or on Instagram, it should bring up all the videos and posts from everyone. So that's a really easy way to get a lot more coverage of the competition as well. So do go check that out. Look at my little Turbski. Oh, speaking of which, I almost forgot. The first thing I need to tackle, I will put a clip in right now, and I probably will have put it at the beginning of the video just to entice y'all. But right there, this thing just started squirting oil. I'll show you a picture of why it came with a ripped gasket, and I tried to use it anyway, hoping the layers would kind of seal together, which seemed to work on one side, but definitely not the other. There's also a little oil peeking out right there, so I maybe didn't tighten this enough. Doesn't necessarily feel like the highest quality fitting of all time, but it's you know, it's gonna work, I'm sure, if I just tighten it down a bit more. But so I need to take that off and reseal it. I could go to town and get some gasket maker, but Monkey Wrenching actually suggested, which means if this fails, I'm gonna blame him. Monkey Wrenching suggested using like a coolant or an oil container and cutting it out of the plastic and using that as a gasket. So we're going to try it. I figured too, I could heat it up a little bit, or I could even use some copper spray a gasket if I really needed to. But we're just going to try it plain and maybe heat it with a lighter a little bit, see how well it can seal that up. So I'll definitely get back to you guys about that. If it's not absolutely obvious, that right there, that's the problem. Yeah, this was a really chintzy gasket. I did find out that I have a fancy factory Mitsubishi gasket for my DSM that'll probably work if the oil canister gasket doesn't, so good backup. Well, this became that, and then I used a hammer just on the little mating surface there. I wouldn't do it if it was aluminum, but it is cast steel, cast iron. Hammered out the template, and then I used drill bits to make the holes. The middle one caught a bit, but so I finished it off with a X-Acto blade. Just a Stanley knife, and there you go. It's not perfect, but it looks better than the Chinese gasket did, honestly, and hopefully it's going to seal. So like I said, I'll probably heat it just a little bit and then clamp it down, and we'll see if it leaks, and I'll show you all the results. Well, I'd call that pretty successful. I don't see even a drop on the line itself or around the gasket. Who knows how long it'll last, but it's working. I don't see any leaking from the return, which I'm also surprised about. And we seem pretty leak-free underneath in general. Even the oil sender, the drips would be back there. Nothing back there, which has two holes blocked off with MPT, one for the line and one's just a block off. And then it also goes to the original oil sender for the car. So that's all good. So I'm pretty happy. I think I'm going to move on straight to the intercooler. So that's up next. If I have time, I'll throw some of that into this video, but I got to keep filming for my big turbo video later. I don't know. I'm pretty hyped about that. It does officially have a turbo, even if it doesn't make boost yet. When I would rev it pretty good, I did get quite a bit of air out, so it is functioning. I'm going to carry on now. Quick update, I got the intercooler half mounted, so all I did was drill some holes in the cross member down here, and then some slits with the angle grinder, and then I pounded it out with that pipe because that's the size of these tabs on the bottom. So those are just sitting in the cross member. It's not beautiful. I'll put a little rubber isolator layer in between so it doesn't bounce around. It will fatigue the tabs, but you can see it's actually, you know, already pretty solid. It's not really going to go anywhere. It could just bounce back and forth like that. But so I'm going to make some more brackets to right there, and that'll be mounted. I can start on the piping. Got the intercooler all mounted up now. I did put some rubber on the bottom to isolate it. I made these two upper brackets, and this thing is, I mean, it's solid. It's definitely not going anywhere. I can do the intercooler piping, and then the car should actually make boost, other than doing the MAF, and then we got to worry about fuel and the O2 sensor. I'm getting there, though. Not sure how many more updates I can give you in today's video, but I hope you enjoy this. There it is. That's how it's going to be mounted. I'm pretty much digging it. Like I said, it's super solid. Just thought I'd show it to you without the cardboard on it. I did take it outside and wash it out, thanks to the recommendation from Jacob from Rust Belt Garage, because it was kind of grotty inside, but I think it'll be fine now. I'm going to work on the actual piping now, and then hopefully show you that and send this video out. All right, I have made progress, but I'm going to have to call it here just to get this video out today. So check it. I've got a 90 coupler into a 90 elbow, and then that goes up to one of the shallower angles, and then I'm going to have to shorten this one up, and that'll connect right into the throttle body, so that won't be a big problem. This one, I've got the 2 to 2.5 reducer going to the turbo outlet. That goes into a 90, and then one of the other elbows, and I'm going to have to shorten both of these, unfortunately, so that I can fit a coupler in the middle, because I wouldn't have enough to couple right there if I cut it off where it needs to be. But really, that's going to be it for the routing, since I'm going for that super haggard style. I can dig it, honestly. Let me get you a better angle. It's going to be kind of sweet, and then the exhaust is going to have to kind of shoot off into space or something like that, and I may or may not have found the perfect pipe for that, let's just say, because it's actually 2.5-inch diameter over there, which is exactly the size of the output flange on the turbo, and that's just a huge stainless nonsense pipe. So, gonna be a good time, but this is gonna take me a while. I do actually have a fancy Woodward Fab bead roller that I've never used. I got really lucky, got that as basically a gift, and I'm going to use that on these so they hopefully don't pop off, but that's going to take a lot of time, which is why I need to go in and edit this video right now. Thank you all so much for watching 802 Garage and the $500 Turbo Car Challenge build videos, and like I said, please go check out everyone else in the description, and also, you know, leave a like if you enjoyed this, leave a comment and tell me who you think is going to win the competition. Thanks again to Monkey Wrenching for the tip on making the gasket. And yeah, just in general, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you are new here. Tell me what you're looking forward to, and do check out the Patreon if you'd like to give me some feedback on that. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you all very soon, hopefully tomorrow, with this thing actually making boost.